Very good morning. Yesterday, some point yesterday, there was a statement released on the official Oldham Council webpage by the leader Amanda Chadderton. I'll read it to you. Ideally, I want to put it up on the screen. Just give me a second and I'll put it up on the screen. Here we go. Statement from Oldham, from Councillor Amanda Chadderton, leader of Oldham Council. We are aware of racist literature being posted through doors in Oldham by a far-right group, particularly around Royton. We are aware of racist literature being posted through doors in Oldham by a far-right group, particularly around Royton. The Council's community safety team, this is the same community safety team, by the way, that sent you all the ASBIs, is aware of the issue and it has been reported to Greater Manchester Police for action. It's vital that every resident in Oldham knows that racism has no place in our borough or modern society, and hate speech is never acceptable. It is aimed at dividing our communities and turning us against each other. Oldham is wonderfully diverse, blah, 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 blah. Do not be persuaded by this hateful material. It is not acceptable. It is a crime and will not be tolerated. All see that? Okay. How many of you have seen it? How many of you have shared it? Come on, how many of you have seen it? How many of you have shared it? I'm just curious. I think it's important. Am I missing something? What is racist? I've shared it. Good. Good. I saw it but not shared it. Is there a reason you didn't share it, Sue? Not seen it, John. Brilliant. I'm just swapping cameras. Just give me a second. This was it, yeah. Give me a second, let me bring it up. Well, let me educate you, Sue, as to why it is racist. Let me educate you as to why it is racist and why we risk falling into a trap and destroying all of the hard work that we've done so far. Just give me one moment. Okay, let's bring it up. This is a copy. This is the copy. Now, what makes racism? Okay, let's do this. Let me get my headphones. Let's get those off so I can do it properly. Now, we accept, the starting point has got to be, we accept I am an educator. I'm not Amanda Chadderton or all of those. Because the reason why they've made the blasé statement they have is they want to cover all of this up as though it's racist, so speaking about it is racist, which it never is. This is the leaflet that went through. So she's claiming the leaflet is racist. The leaflet on its own is not racist. Racism is more complex than that. The leaflet specifically makes reference to the cover-up of the grooming gangs. Yeah. Britain's shame, and it uses this word, British girls. Now you'll have to bear with me because it'll all make sense. So on its own, you look at that and you say, what's racist about that? Absolutely nothing. So why is Amanda Chadderton claiming this is racist in its first instance? Is because she wants to shut down debate. So the purpose of this, the purpose of Amanda Chadderton's statement is to shut down debate. On this issue. Her role in the cover-up of the grooming gangs. Her role in the cover-up of the grooming gangs. So on that basis, what Amanda Chadderton is trying to do is use a leaflet such as this, and it is racist, and I'll explain why it's racist, but she's not condemning the leaflet as such. What she's trying really to do is shut down the debate. She's trying to shut all of you down from talking about the grooming gangs. And those of you who've been on this journey with us for a number of years have seen the repeated use of racism. We're racist, we're far-right activists because all we've done is want to expose and bring to justice those who are responsible for the cover-up of the grooming and gang rape of our children. This is the text itself. This is the text itself in the leaflet. And I'll go through the paragraphs. The first paragraph. Over 100,000 British girls have been victims of sexual abuse, rape and trafficking, and some have even been murdered. These crimes have taken place over a 40-year period and are still taking place today in towns and cities up and down the country. Is there any racism there? No. But what I want you to look at is the word British. They use the word British. And they've used the word British, so you can see it there, here as well, on the cover. They've used the word British as well. They've not used the word white, they've used the word British. And despite the scale and severity of these crimes, they have largely been covered up by the police and social services and ignored by the political establishment and those within the mainstream media. We agree. Agree with that? They could have copied that off something I've written. Yeah, agreed. The reason for this cover-up is no doubt the ethnic component of these crimes. Yes, I've said these are racially motivated crimes. Yeah. So that's what they mean. These are racially motivated crimes. It is clear that the media, the police, social services and politicians are all more concerned about protecting the multicultural status quo. I don't know about the multicultural status quo, but we've said protecting their votes, than they are about protecting British girls. Again, they use the word British. Sorry, that's my spelling. This cover-up goes so far that police officers in some areas of the UK were told to find other ethnicities to investigate. They had done this in Manchester. In Manchester, 97 members of the grooming gangs were identified. Greater Manchester Police, in partnership with Manchester Council, shut down the investigation. No one can find out, no one can seem to work out who ordered it or where the minutes of the meetings have gone. It's a cover-up, yeah? There have been cases when the police arrested the fathers of girls being abused for attempting to free their daughters from the clutches of their abusers. In other harrowing cases, girls who have been raped dozens of times tried to report their abuse to the police or were instead arrested themselves. Agreed? We agree. The sheer size and scale of this scandal cannot be underestimated and exposes the lengths that the establishment will go in order to protect their multicultural project from criticism. Again, you see the word multicultural. And you've seen it here as well. Multicultural. I'm highlighting these because it's important. We believe that British girls should be safe to walk the streets of Britain any time, day or night. Again, the word British. We believe that victims of abuse should never have to suffer in silence, but most of all, we believe that those in positions of power who helped to cover up these cases of grooming and silence victims should be placed on trial for their complicity and their crimes. So far, you're struggling to find the racism, but racism is no longer about what is written, and I'll get to that. But you see the organisation here? Patriotic Alternative. And you can see here, look, British here, British girls, the word multicultural used here, British used here again, multicultural project used here, but the organisation responsible for this leaflet is this company organisation called patrioticalternative.org.uk. So on this document itself, It's extremely difficult. It's extremely difficult to identify what Amanda Chadderton claims, which is that this leaflet is a crime. Why is this leaflet a crime, Amanda Chadderton? And let me explain why, because you need to understand why. You need to understand why. Just give me one moment, let me clear all of this. I'll show you something. The leaflet on its own is not what makes it racist. There's hints there, but the leaflet on its own is not what makes it racist. What makes anything racist, and this is why they've failed repeatedly to have me done for racism, even though they've tried, isn't just what they are saying, because a leaflet is what they are saying. Who is saying it, as in not the person, but the motives. And more importantly, what the solution is. And racism is no longer about the words, because the racists are clever. The racists can hide what they say, so you and I agree with it, because that's what racists do. It's what extremists do. Extremists take a mainstream issue that has been failed to be addressed and exploit it. So it's often hard to work out where the racism is in what they've said, because they've taken an issue that you and I agree with. But to identify the racism, you've got to understand what the motives are and what they propose as the solutions. Okay, Julian, I'm not picking on you at all, sweet. Would any of you have shared a document by the whatever the equivalent of the Nazi Party is today? You wouldn't. None of you would. None of you would share it. None of you would share a leaflet by Hamas, even if Hamas were suddenly fundraising for aid in the Middle East, or if Hamas came along and said, we want to help in the Ukraine. None of you would get involved with any of that. Let me show you. This is Patriotic Alternatives webpage, and this is their plan. So not just who they are, what their solutions are. So what are Patriotic's alternatives solutions? This is their webpage. It's not me taking anything and misinterpreting it or presenting it in a different way. The British people, remember? They use the word British repeatedly. So first of all, they define who the British people are. The British people are made up of English, Northern Irish, Scottish and Welsh. So straight away, they're defining the British people as an exclusive group of people. So a British passport, such as what I hold, would exclude me from being British or anyone who's black or Caribbean or from anywhere else in the world. The British people, according to them, are a distinct group of people made up of English, Northern Irish, Scottish and Welsh. And they're indigenous people of the United Kingdom. Okay? As such, we'll pass a nation-state law to enshrine this principle and ensure that the British people never become a minority or second-class citizen in their ancestral homeland. Okay, so we will prioritise one group of people because of the colour of their skin over another. You can argue over that all you want, but that's what they're saying. Theresa, you need to listen. And they want to halt all immigration under exceptional circumstances. Immigration is a contentious issue, has been for a long time. That in itself isn't racist. Demographics of the UK. Have a look at this sentence. To counter this trend, so demographic trends forecast that the indigenous people of the UK will be a minority by 2060. Actually, that's not true, but put that to one side. Let's work on the basis it is true. To counter this trend, those of immigrant descent, that's anyone who is not indigenous to this nation, as defined by them, of English, Scottish, and Welsh stock, indigenous stock, whatever they mean by that. What they're saying is, to counter the trend, those of immigrant descent, so anyone else, who have obtained British passports will be offered generous financial incentives in order to return to their ancestral homelands. How far back they go, I don't know. It's like something out of Nazi Germany. Okay? To counter this trend, those of immigrant descent who have obtained British passports will be offered generous financial incentives in order to return to their ancestral homelands. You don't need to be sorry, Julie. I'm here to educate you. There's nothing for any of you to be sorry about. Because we share this stuff, thinking these people are on our side. Amanda Chadderton and her lot. So, see, Julie Hayward shared it. Lynn Kovac shared it. Kath, somebody shared it. Someone else shared it or commented on it. And suddenly they make us far right, portray us to be far right and racist. And what we've been fighting for and care about is hijacked, and it becomes a far right issue, and they get away with it again. And they get away with it again because they won't stop to educate you. And I'm stopping to educate you. Took time out of my morning because I woke up horrified. And part of me was disappointed because I thought we'd been educated enough. Well, we go and see Who is the messenger? What are the motives and what are the solutions they propose? So the solutions these people propose is to send black people, Asian people, anyone that isn't of pure stock as defined by them, anyone who isn't of pure stock as defined by them, they want to send them packing. But it gets worse. Equally, no immigrant descended person should ever be allowed to take decisions regarding the ethnic composition of the UK. Well, the decisions that are made in this country are made in Parliament, are made in the civil service, they're made in our politicians, in our policymakers. So what they are now saying is that people who are not of this pure bred stock, who can say this land is their ancestral homeland, going back I don't know when, if you don't belong to that, you can't hold public office. You can't hold a job in the public sector and you can't hold a political position. It's racially exclusive. Do you see? Racially exclusive. They tie in the grooming scandal. They tie in stuff around gender identity. Not because they care about these things, because they know they resonate with people. And they're using these issues to try and exploit you. You can see animal welfare. It's not about animal welfare. They want to ban halal meat. They want to ban kosher meat. They want to stop circumcision. Yeah, that's if you believe in it or don't believe in it, you know. Crime, armed forces, all of it is underpinned. All of this is underpinned by a belief that they need to make this country exclusively white again. So their agenda of patriotic alternative is to reset the clock, however back you go, and people of origins from elsewhere in the world have been hit in this country from the Roman times, proven and more. What these people want is to make an exclusively white country. Now I ask you something. If that's what patriotic alternative want to do, how is that helping? What is the solution? What is the solution to the grooming gang scandals? They haven't got one. They're putting these leaflets through your letterboxes. So you share their nonsense and you give the far right a voice. Now the problem I've got with Amanda Chadderton's statement, Debbie, is that her and her kind have been calling us racist and far right for the past 3 years. So when the real far right do come along, people have stopped believing them. When the real far right do come along, they've cried wolf so many times, people have stopped believing them. And the timing of it does stink. Who has directed the racist organisations to do this now? John, if I was a conspiracy theory, I would say that those that control of our town have helped encourage this lot to come and deliver these leaflets, because it is an attempt to shut us all down. Amanda Chadderton's statement is an attempt to shut us all down and use these idiots to do so. Now, Patriotic Alternative, in my opinion, have come along because of the national publicity Oldham is currently getting, not just because the grooming gangs operated in this town, but that Amanda Chadderton and her friends in the council blocked a public inquiry, blocked calls for a public inquiry. And people are frustrated, people are angry, and people are frustrated and people are angry, and when those in power exploit and abuse their positions, such as what Amanda Chadderton and her friends have done, when those in power have done that, it creates a vacuum where these far-right organisations see an opportunity, and that's why these leaflets have been delivered in writing. And the solution Patriotic Alternative are promoting, do any of you really think they care about our children in Oldham? If they did, where were they for the last 4 years? They don't care. The solution that Patriotic Alternative are promoting is, if our country was white again, as if it ever was, but if our country was white again, then these people, these issues would go away. And it is that, isn't it, John? The more Amanda Chadderton and her friends close down democracy, the more Amanda Chadderton and her friends close down debate and try to demonise and discredit decent people, as history has shown, the issues do not go away. People are not silenced. People go to alternative, extreme places, organisations, through which, well, what do you think happens? What do you think happens? We can beat this. We can get to where we need to get to. And the way we will get to where we need to get to is not falling for the traps of Patriotic Alternative or anyone else that comes along. There's a lot of people jumping on the bandwagon now. Royton got targeted because it's Amanda Chadderton's ward. She's a Royton councillor. No, Lindsay. Patriotic Alternative are a long-established organisation. It might be easy to set up a website and get cheap leaflets, but Patriotic Alternative have been around for a long time. And the people behind them have been around for some time as well, for some time more. The tactic of Patriotic Alternative is not to shut down debate. An extremist organisation, a far-right organisation, comes along and exploits the situation. It's what they've always done. The Islamists do it. The jihadists do it. Do you think any of them really care about Palestine? No, it's an issue that they know they can use to go and exploit and stick the, get into a community and exploit. What happened here was because Amanda Chadderton, her Labour-run council, are closing down debate and demonising and criminalising decent people, these extremist organisations sense an opportunity, and that's why these leaflets have come out. And when these leaflets came out, what we need to do, what you and I and everyone else we know needs to do, is distance ourselves from these people and say, no, we are an educated town. We do not believe in these racists and their extreme solutions as the way forward. We are capable of driving the change ourselves. And Amanda Chadderton and her mates will use Patriotic Alternative and organisations like them to demonise each and every one of you that mistakenly shares this stuff or comments on this stuff. And what will then happen is that, and we're a small group, we're growing, but we are a small group. Most people in this town would run 1,000,000 miles away from any issue where they come anywhere near being described as racist or far right or extreme. Because most people in our town are decent, honourable, hard-working people. And that's why I've took time out this morning to do this. The message may not be, the leaflet may not be racist. But what are the motives? What are the motives of the people distributing the leaflets? And what do they propose as the solutions? And that's where you find the racism. That's where you find the extremism. And really what should be happening is Amanda Chadderton and someone else from the council, the community safety team, they should be explaining where the racism is, but they can't and they won't because they don't know how to. That isn't what the far-right extremism is. The far-right extremism is the proposed solution. And you're right, Tommy. The word racist has been weaponized so much. That's why we've ended up here. That's why we've ended up here. Sue, I started with you and we'll end up with you. It's the organisation that is a far-right extreme organisation, and I've explained to you why. And I'll leave you with the thought, do any of you genuinely think that an organisation such as this cares about our town? Or, as Dean rightly points out, they are just here to try and exploit us and use us for their own agenda and bugger off somewhere else afterwards. And that's who Patriotic Alternative are. Those are the leaflets that have been pushed through doors of Royton, and Amanda Chadderton and her friends should be ashamed. These organisations, an organisation like this, would not even have contemplated descending on our town if her and her friends had done their jobs in the first place. We are not the racists. We are not the far-right extremists. And if anything, the climate that is being cultivated where organisations such as this can come in and exploit our town and our people is being done so because of the actions of Amanda Chadderton and her Labour Party-led Oldham Council that have comprehensively failed working-class white girls in our town, covered up the grooming and gang rape, if not facilitated the grooming and gang rape, and are now blocking a public inquiry. And my friends, I fear it will only get worse. If you find value in my work, there's a Buy Me a Coffee link. I'd appreciate it. Share this post. But more importantly than not, if you're sharing these leaflets, or if you're thinking of sharing these leaflets, or know people who are, go and educate them. Go and educate them. We cannot allow ourselves to be manipulated, and we cannot allow ourselves to be exploited, and most of all, we cannot allow Amanda Chadderton and her Labour-run council to use this to try and shut down a genuine grievance on the cover-up of the grooming and gang rape of our town's children. Enjoy your weekends. Take care.
Do not fear them. Do not fear any of them.